Hello and welcome to Claret and Brew / the Fanzone. We've combined two shows in one here. We've got Kendrick on basically to talk about Chelsea. that's the long and short of it. John, you and I have done a lot of podcasting over the weekend. We did a 81-minute live stream on Saturday. We recorded the Q&A on Sunday, which went out on Monday. Now it's time to turn our attention to Chelsea, a huge game at Villa Park on Wednesday night. We'll start with you, Matt. How are you feeling about it?
I've woke up in probably a slightly more positive mood than I went to bed in on Friday night.
Just hibernated over the weekend.
That's it, yeah. I've been non-stop drinking over the weekend, so that's probably I'm not recommending that to numb the pain of a Villa defeat, by the way. I don't know, it's Chelsea, isn't it? You know, they've been in reasonable form, but they're not world beaters. Equally, we've been so, well, particularly Friday, but hints of it in previous weeks, we've been so far off it that we've just got to find a performance from somewhere, find a result from somewhere. I think we can do. I'm not sure we will do. But yeah, is that enough fence sitting for you?
Quite anxious about it. It's a really important game, and there's every chance it'll be season defining for Villa. I think if we win, then we've got, say, big enough cushion. It's not necessarily that, in the last 9 or whatever games of the season we'll be fine then. It's actually just to get to the international break, knowing that we'll be above Chelsea. That's the most important thing for me, because then after the break, you've got 7 games remaining, and Tillman should be back, hopefully, relatively soon after that, and you'll have McGinn back by then as well. We can go again fresh. International break, hopefully, quarter-final of the Europa League as well. On the flip side, if we're out the Europa League and we lose to Chelsea, oh wow, it's going to be a really miserable break. So, yeah, I think it's really important that, I think more than anything else, we don't lose. And I'm saying that purely because I'm not entirely confident we're going to win. We know where their strengths lie. It's Reece James. It's the attacking quality that they have. They'll obviously have Fofana back, no Neto, but then you'll expect a Garnacho to come in, I suppose. Yeah, quite anxious about it, to be honest. I'm just fearing another meltdown, to be fair. But yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, okay. So the Fanzone show is effectively comments from the mailbag, where we discuss fans' opinions and questions specifically about the match. Matt, you obviously don't normally do the Fanzone, so I will tee John up with a list of subject headers that have either been sent in or I've picked, and we pick them at random and then discuss. I'm going to give you both the option to take it in turns to pick a subject. Matt, you go first, please.
Oh, let's get this one out of the way nice and early. Could turn toxic.
Oh, jeez, great. What's that?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Could turn toxic from Sussex Sharks. Without stating the obvious, something has to change, and quick. Friday's abject performance saw Konsa seeming to argue with fans. I fear it's going to start getting very toxic. If we go a goal down versus Chelsea early, I feel Villa Park could turn. We all know we're missing 3 of our midfielders, but main issue is we are not creating and never look like scoring.
This sounds a really stupid thing to say. I'd be more worried if we go 1-0 down after about 70 minutes, because that seems to be a little bit of a pattern when we've not started the second half particularly well. I don't think you'll turn if we go 1-0 down after 15 minutes. I think Villa could afford, not necessarily afford to, but I think Villa could lose that game and it not turn, providing that the team turns up and, you know, plays in the right way. So I don't think it's a case of, you know, us abandoning Villa, you know, through the tough times if we go a goal down. I think it's how can Emery, with a team that's probably feeling a little bit sorry for itself, and all the things we've gone over, that's lacking a little bit of leadership, that's lacking tempo, that's not asserting themselves on games properly. How can Emery address that and make sure that, you know, we're not suddenly going to go gung-ho and leave the door back wide open for Chelsea, but how can he address it so that, you know, that age-old cliche that the fans and the players are each feeding off each other? I get it. I get what the questioner is saying, because we're at a point of, you know, I don't like talking about must-wins, because we've said it before, haven't we? If you don't win it, but you win the next 9, then who cares how much of a must-win that was? But I think it's a can't lose. I think we can't afford to lose the game. Neither can we play for a draw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you're stuck in this little bit of, you haven't got much room to manoeuvre really, because you've got to be bold and brave enough to show that we mean business and we're going to go and seize a Champions League place. but you can't do that at the expense of leaving yourself vulnerable. But listen, we've played bigger matches like this than this. I think I can't remember what the last one would have been. It's all about attitude and it's all about intent on Wednesday night. But probably I don't know, measured aggression really. So it's a big challenge for Emery to pick the team off the floor and to show we've got a way of winning this football match.
I'm going to pull one from the mailbag just because you mentioned it, from Sancho's mom. Must win. Chelsea is must win, but we never do well in those must-win games. We have to play Tammy, Barkley and Sancho from the start. Now, we'll get to team news and our predicted 11 towards the end. I think what you said there, Matt, is interesting, and that's what I'm fearful of, that we can't play for a draw. I worry that we may be too worried about not losing rather than trying to go and win the game.
I think that might be felt in the stands, which worries me more than anything else. And I say that because the players, they will be going to win the game. They might be a little bit, should we say, unconfident because I've been playing well. But my fear is that Villa Park isn't the sort of boisterous Villa Park that we know it can be, because we're all scared. And that will feed its way onto the pitch within the first 5 minutes, and it'll be anxious.
So how do you stop that? If we all know going into that game, that's how we're going to feel. Can we not go into that feeling like that?
Yeah, but that, we can only feel how we feel, right? I don't think we can just mask over our emotions. And I say that because we've seen that before at Villa Park, that we can be nervous, and we're sort of waiting for the 11 players on the pitch to show us something to then get up for it. If we win a corner, there's noise. But if it's not and it's Chelsea dominating us like Leeds did for much of that first half, then I just hope that we can create a situation where it does feel like it's difficult for Chelsea. I think they'll be coming to Villa Park thinking, you know what, this is a real opportunity here. If they beat us, I can see them getting more points than us still, because we're not in a good way, are we? So, as I say, I think it's really important that we just get to the international break with some sort of positivity that, okay, we've got a gap still. Yeah, it's just really important that we don't lose. I think that's got to be our first sort of objective. But I think to not lose, you've got to try and win, though. I think we'll lose if we play for a draw.
Yeah, I agree. Go on then, give me another topic, John.
Chelsea crumble.
Wednesday has to be the turning point. I can't make Wednesday's game, but I'll be there in spirit. Can we please just all pull together on Wednesday? We're all supporters, so support. Shout until your voices break and get behind the lads. Chelsea will crumble if we do this. If we do our bit, the players do their bit. Mike from Cricket.
I think we've done this debate, haven't we, in terms of what comes first, the crowd atmosphere or the intense performance on the pitch. I think we normally conclude that it's a bit of both. I think the kind of, I'm not making excuses for how poor we were on Friday, but the laboratory conditions were against us in terms of a local derby, pouring with rain, Friday night under the lights, etc., etc. I'm hoping that the conditions will be with us on Wednesday, that it's not a 12:30 kickoff and it's, it is under the floodlights and, we are playing a direct rival, if you like, and there's no excuse for not being up for it. I mean, I don't think there's any excuse for not being up for it anyway, but I do hope that the fans turn up. That can be something as simple as a crunching tackle in the first 10 minutes from one of our players, or moving the ball quickly, or a shot at goal, or whatever it might be. I don't know whether Chelsea will crumble. I find them a strange side to suss out at the moment. I was chatting to a mate of mine in the pub last night after we played football, talking about Chelsea, and they've obviously got this bit of a red card curse at the moment. They're very rarely finishing with 11 men. I hope they don't get anybody sent off again. We're woeful, aren't we? When the numbers are uneven, whether we've got the man advantage or the disadvantage. But I don't know whether does that point to a little bit of, I don't know, naivety or ill discipline in their team. So can they be got at in that sense? I do think that a very intense professional performance from us could win the game now. Yeah. That to me is a little bit wishful thinking, because we spoke on Friday about the lack of leaders in that team, the lack of people who are going to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Does that change as quickly as Wednesday? And who are the people who are going to step up, if you like, or stand up to be counted? And I don't think we need to name names, but I think it needs to be, the responsibility needs to be shared, doesn't it? but we need some people who are going to, just make sure standards don't slip.
Do you think we should? Sounds bizarre. Do you think we should bring McGinn, Tielemans, and Kamara up before the game and just wheel them around a little bit?
Stick them in a wheelchair. Starting lineup.
yeah, play them. But I think that would get the crowd up though. It'd be like,
maybe.
You know what? They are here. Like, it's not. They will be back, or two of them will be back soon.
We spoke on the Q&A, didn't we, about, do Villa feel a little bit like, do we rush one of these back because we're desperate here? I think if McGinn was like, oh, I'm playing against United next week, that might be a bit like, oh, okay, like maybe.
Yeah, I think there's a fair chance of that. But yeah, can I just quickly say the one thing that I'm worried about on this game? Well, one of the big things that I'm worried about in this game, is that obviously we're lacking goals. I was just looking at Chelsea's away record since Rossini came in. In the 7 away games that he's had, in 5 of them, and the other 2 were Arsenal, they've scored 3 or more goals. Some of the games are easier than others. So they beat Charlton 5-1, they beat Palace 3-1, they beat Napoli 3-2, beat Wolves 3-1, and they beat Hull 4-0. And some of those games are not so bad, but I was actually impressed by them yesterday. On Sunday against Arsenal. I just think away from home, if they're confident and they are scoring goals and they play like they did against Arsenal, that is going to be a concern for us. If we can limit them to 1 goal, that sounds great, but we're going to score 2. I don't know.
I mean, the Villa of old would be to say, well, if Chelsea are going to come and score 2, we're so good at home, we could score 3, but that's not the case now. I mean, you talk about the old discipline or something like that. I think Rossini said some quotes similar to that after their game. That that's the thing that could cost them. That bit of naivety or losing their heads or whatever. So
and set pieces as well.
That can be got at. We spoke on the Q&A about Sanchez. Put him under pressure, make him flap a bit. That will get the crowd up as well. Like, it feels like a few levers Villa can pull to make Chelsea uncomfortable. It's just whether we think Villa are even in a position to go and pull those levers. Are we confident enough? Can we try something different? I'm not sure. Go on, give us another topic. Matt, you pick one this time.
Starting Alisson.
Starting Alisson from Ollie. I'm writing this in the aftermath of that absolutely dire performance at Molineux, so maybe this is a bit reactionary, but I want to see Alisson start against Chelsea, provided his fitness is okay. At this point, I swear he's shown more in about 25 minutes combined than players like Bailey have, and yet they get more minutes. I understand he's young and inexperienced, but we need something different, and nobody else is offering it. Matt, this one's for you really, because John and I spoke about Alisson on the Q&A. So, what's your thoughts on the next name? Are
I'd just like to echo what you and John said.
Which was?
It was a very, very kind of detailed and okay. You've got me. Is he, I suppose, tactically disciplined enough to do what Emery wants him to do in a big game? And even if he isn't, is it time now to bring out your wild card and to try and do something that's going to create chances and create goals for us? Because I don't expect you to have these numbers at your fingertips, John, although you might do. Talking about how prolific Chelsea have been on the road. We haven't scored many goals at Villa Park, have we?
Not recently.
In the last couple of months, obviously, I think we've had that comeback against Salzburg in the Europa League. But other than that, I imagine it's been nils and ones, hasn't it? In the last couple of months. So chances are Chelsea will score against us, which means us having to find 2 goals. And at the moment, Bailey's not been good enough. Rodgers has been really quiet compared to what we expect of him. The Ollie Watkins frustration rolls on. Buendia, as I noted on Friday, I thought was particularly poor. It needs something different. We haven't got Tielemans' eye for a pass at the moment. I don't think there's anybody in the team. You could say Torres, but Torres is obviously starting from a deeper position who can unpick people through the middle of the park. So, we probably do need to be better at committing players in wide areas and going past them and getting crosses or cutbacks from the byline. So I wouldn't be against it. I mean, who would make way for him? Would you start him off the left or would you start him off the right?
I don't think it will happen. So I haven't committed too much brain power to it, to be honest. I'd be amazed if he started.
I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world, though. I know it falls into that trap of us always expecting the person who's not on the pitch to be the answer. when we've got lots of good players who are on the pitch who need to find the answers themselves. I wouldn't be massively opposed to it. I think it'd be a gamble. I don't see it happening. You might get the last 25 minutes. Hopefully, when we need somebody to conjure up our fourth goal, you might get
Chelsea 4-0 up. 4-0 up, sorry.
Don't even joke about it.
Okay, John, you find me another subject, please.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario from Southeast Villain. Can we please have some perspective? Worst case scenario, by the start of the following set of fixtures, West Ham, Forest, Sunderland, Fulham and Tottenham, we will be just 3 points off fifth. We'd have taken that after 3 points from 5 games back in September. It's always darkest just before the dawn. Keep the faith. It does feel a little bit sad that we had a 10-point gap to fifth, and worst case scenario will be sixth with 3 points off fifth, and we're the chasers again. We've been so terrible. Even 3 points off fifth isn't. If we're saying Chelsea 3 points behind us, well, okay, well they could still do it. If we're 3 points chasing, we can still do it, but. That is worst case scenario. The other side of it is if we can just beat Chelsea. I think you have to go to something like April the 11th. I did look at what fixture it was. Is it Forest maybe? I can't remember. It would take till then for Chelsea to overtake us.
Cheer up, guys. Our major collapse is not coming until April the 11th. This is just a mini collapse.
The worst is yet to come. I look at our fixture list and look at it. I think, okay, that's not so bad if we're playing well.
Yeah.
Whether we're playing well or not, I think West Ham will be really difficult. I think Forest will be really difficult. Those two teams who need to win football games. Sunderland at home, ideally you win that game, but I don't know. Fulham away, they're playing well. Harry Wilson's in great form. Spurs at home will win that 10-0. Burnley away, and then Liverpool and Man City. This is up to us. I said in the... I think it was the 81-minute episode we did, Dan, that I'm forgetting the league table a little bit now. Obviously, it's impossible to not talk about it when you've got a direct rival in Chelsea coming up next. But, international break, can you just stay in the top 5? Okay, this is like a leveler now. Like, forget that we've had 28 games, I think, already. Call it 0. We have 10 games left. Win as many as you can and see where you are. It's
a little mini season, didn't we, the other day?
Yeah, it's completely up to us from here. Like, we've lost our gap. We can regain it against Chelsea. Fantastic. We could then lose it nearly the weekend after. Like, it's gonna go up, gonna go down. So yeah, I just think after every single game we're going to be saying this is the gap, and this is the new gap, and it's might look good, might look bad, might look the same as the week before, but it's just going to be a bit of a not boring conversation because we will be the ones stoking it, obviously. But at the same time, I don't think we can read too much into the table yet, which sounds ridiculous because we're not that far away from the end of the season. But I think with 6 games remaining, that's when we can really look at it and say, okay, what form are we in? What games do we play? Do we play in the Europa League? Do Chelsea play in the Champions League? Anything like that? But for the next 3 or 4, we've just got to do what we can to win and win and win.
We're at the point of the season where we've just got to match Chelsea now.
Yes, we want to put a brave face on things, and we would have taken this situation 5 games into the season.
I wouldn't have taken it in January, though.
When you've built up that daylight, if you're the beast or the dark destroyer on the chase, and you're 20 questions in front, and there's 2 minutes. You've got 2 minutes left. You feel fairly confident, but the seconds tick down, and you've got 2 seconds left to answer a question about, I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter's Star Side or whatever. All of a sudden, the pressure starts to mount, doesn't it? And I think that plays on your mind, doesn't it? Because if you're winning and you've got that momentum and you've got that gap, you can be braver, you can take more risks, because if it doesn't pay off, you've still got that buffer. But when that starts to erode, that's when you're infected by nervousness. And maybe you're not as a professional footballer. Maybe all the coaching you've got and the sports psychologists and the muscle memory from how you've got yourself through difficult situations before, maybe that kicks in, but they're only human, aren't they? They're having to do this in an environment where we don't have those sports psychologists. Our muscle memory points us naturally to the times when we haven't done it and it's been difficult. So I think it just becomes probably more psychological than it has been before. We're winning those games I'm not saying naturally, there's a lot of hard work that went into that winning run. I mean, all this could be solved, if we just started scoring 35-yard bangers again. I mean, why we've stopped doing that?
Yeah.
Start doing that. You get 3 or 4 of them each game, and, everything's fine.
Yeah.
So, such a simple game, isn't it? Just blast one in from 30 yards, we'll be fine. Right, we've got a couple left then. Matt, you can pick, please. Don't pick the Barkley one.
So this will be good.
I'll go for big game theory.
Big game theory. I'm amazed it's taken us this long to get into this, to be honest, because this is quite an interesting discussion. There's 2 here from River Costello and Bosco Balaban's missing right boot. River says, not to try to look at the positives already, because I think it's beyond unacceptable to lose to Wolves in the manner we did. Well, we're past that now, so it's fine. We always do better against the big teams, although right now I can't see us winning a single game ever again. I do think we probably have more chance of playing well against Chelsea than we did against Wolves. What are your thoughts on this theory? And Bosco Balaban's right boot says, granted in the context of the Wolves game, this theory looks as awful as our play, but do you think our performances against low block sides, Everton, Brentford, Leeds, Wolves, is something we simply don't have the structure or players for, and we're simply better set up to play against the likes of Chelsea and Man United, where they come at us and are more open at the back? That's a reason to be optimistic for our next 2 games, perhaps. Also, Unai will demand a reaction, which we normally get. Which is true. We're not often bad consistently, bad back-to-back weeks, right? It can't get any worse than Wolves. It has to be some kind of improvement. Now, will that be enough to get points out of Chelsea and Man United? No idea. I hope so. Desperately hope so. But we've spoken before, and I've not looked into this, and I don't know whether you have, John, but something we often feel like is Villa do tend to play better against better opponents.
Yeah.
We have some better opponents coming up. Will that kick us into life somehow?
Yeah, I think that there's a fair chance of that. The low block is killing us. I forgot what the stat was now about low blocks and the fact of when we have 65% plus possession, we've rarely won in the last 20 times that's happened. So yeah, I definitely think that's reason for some optimism. We know that we play better in space, which we say that about every team, but we do specifically have the players for that. Be it Watkins in the channel, Tammy in the channel as well, other players as well, making use of Rodgers galloping into space. That's going to be hard for Chelsea to pick up. I can imagine Caicedo would get a yellow card for that reason, or Fernandes. It's interesting because Chelsea, how are they going to feel about this game? We're obviously saying, do not lose, try and win it. But the worst case scenario is that you lose the match, and that's the same in any match. But for Chelsea, are they going into it thinking they have to win? I think they might be. I think their fans will be going to Villa Park thinking, well, if we don't win this, it stays 6 points. And naturally, you're thinking, well, Villa have been ahead of us for so long. They've fallen off a little bit, but 6 points is still a big gap. But it was, I think, for us, we're thinking, well, let's just get to the international break and reset. So I think Chelsea probably will be coming to Villa Park to win, which may, as we're trying to explain, play into our hands a little bit. But equally, that can then change, can't it? If they score a goal in 10 minutes, then they will play a low block, you'd have thought. So, yeah, it's really important that we start the game well in any sort of context that we're talking about. But yeah, definitely, if they are going to leave some space, that will help. In terms of results against better teams, should we say, Newcastle, you'd argue, are probably the best team, or maybe Bournemouth. And that Bournemouth game probably would have won again if Luka Dean didn't turn off. The Newcastle game, we obviously go down to 10 men. And I actually think in the first half, we were pretty good. We could have gone 2-0 up, had Tammy scored from Bailey's cutback. But before that, you're looking at, Brighton at home, Brentford at home, they're playing with 10 men. We play Salzburg, and that's a different sort of game to talk about. But then, we've beaten Newcastle not that long ago away from home. That followed a Fenerbahce win away from home, and Fenerbahce were coming at us because they were trying to get into the top 8 of that. Everton come to Villa Park and obviously set up, not in a way that we would want to play against. We win at Spurs. We win at Chelsea. We beat Man United. There is definitely reason to suggest that we would prefer to play against teams who are on paper better, just simply because of their motivation in the game. It's not to come to Villa Park and try and, with respect, stink it out and keep a clean sheet first and foremost. It is Chelsea who are going to come to Villa Park and try and score first and, win the game.
Do you think that has any bearing on the players, Matt? Our players, I'm more motivated to try and beat Chelsea than I am to beat Brentford at home, whatever.
Probably has more impact on the crowd. than on the players because, we know we've got one of the big boys in town, albeit kind of fallen big boys of recent years. We know that this game's got some proper jeopardy on it. So I think that will have an impact on the crowd, which will in turn have an impact on the players. Playing against opposition who are going to come and take the game to you does give you that chance to exploit spaces. So, but listen, this is me. I'm not really sure I've thought this through, but you play good opposition and you raise your game by virtue of you playing good opposition, but you're playing good opposition. So raising the game, does that just kind of level off? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, at the very least, match your opponent and then to see what happens, right? If you don't raise your game to a better opponent, then you'll lose. So,
which we didn't do against Wolves.
Yeah.
No, I think I did a quick check before we came on, and it doesn't count for too much, but our recent form against Chelsea in the Prem has been reasonably good.
Yeah,
I think we've won 5, drawn 2, and lost 3. Again, it's a new season, and you can't read too much into past results. But I'm looking for any crumbs of comfort I can at the moment, Dan. So I'll go with that.
They're winless in the last 2 at Villa Park.
I'll do one then. Bloody hell.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I've ruined it there. Sorry. And then Villa are looking to win 3 league games in a row against Chelsea for the first time since a run of 4 between 1978 and 1984.
Back when they were... Let's do the final point then, John, as a lead into team news, basically.
Bringing in Barkley.
Okay, from Ron Jeremy. I understand that Barkley can't play for 90 minutes, but why not, whilst McGinn and Tielemans are out, start him further forward and let him play for 45 minutes, etc. And in that time, try to get ahead in the game rather than bring him on at 70 minutes and limit us to 20 minutes of that type of player that we need on the pitch. Now, this is not specifically about Barkley, although you're both free to answer it, and more so let's just talk about what kind of 11 we'd like to see, and whether Barkley's in that is up to you. I'll start with you, John. What kind of team would you like to see on Wednesday?
A winning one. Okay, so Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Maatsen, left back. The centre back is either obviously Torres or Mings. I don't think Lindelof will be coming in for this one. And it was interesting that Emery spoke about how Mings had a bit of a niggle before the game against Wolves, and that him suggesting that would maybe infer that Mings would have started.
He might have played Wolves if he was fit.
Yeah. So whatever Emery thinks for that one. I mean, I would always say Torres, just because in home games, I think we need to try and take the game to Chelsea. Again, if we don't, we're going to be kind of standing off and essentially just defending our own box. I think we'll be punished at some point. Defensively, we've obviously improved, though. The Wolves game, conceding once is bad enough. The second goal comes in the last sort of seconds. I guess Luiz and Onana continue in midfield. Rodgers will obviously start. And for the first time in a little while, I'm not totally sure what we do in those other 2 supporting positions to the striker. I would start Tammy. I mean, what do you think, Matt? Barkley?
Cheers, mate.
Why not try Tammy up top and give Watkins a rest on the bench, and the 3 behind him? Why not try? I don't know, Sancho on the right, still give him another go.
Yeah.
Barkley as your 10, and not quite Alisson yet, and Rodgers off the left to start with. I don't know, maybe it's just moving the deck chairs around, to be honest. But I think something's got to look a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
I'm not sure that Emery makes his team selections to get the crowd up for it. But I think Tammy starting might get the crowd up for it.
Yeah, because we thought he'd play against Wolves and he didn't, and it's an away game, it's different. And for me, that was, team news is out on my phone. Oh, Watkins again. If it's again Wednesday and I'm going to the ground, everyone else will have that feeling of, how is Watkins in this team? And that energy just isn't right. It's not how it should be.
Even if, the whole, and we want them, if Watkins starts, I want full backing and full support for Watkins. But at the same time, it does feel like the first, I don't know, misplaced pass or poor touch that he makes. And I hope there isn't one. It's a 10 out of 10 game. But if there is one, it will be met with like, here we go, sort of thing. And that's not
someone like Bailey, who's not been very good. If he plays again and does something wrong, it'll be everyone's on him straight away.
And that's why I do think Emery probably needs to, if anything else, just say protect the player. Watkins will want to start, but for his own good, like just give him a rest, take him out the firing line, bring him back for a little if needed or anything like that. yeah, just quickly, Barkley and Sancho, they've probably got a point to prove as well to Chelsea, possibly as well. Both used to play
in there. We've got
And
next.
Tammy too, yeah, good point.
And Matson.
Anyone
Not quite the same, but you know.
well, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
I did have a stat for Tammy. Hold on. Abraham is looking to score in back-to-back home games in the Premier League since December 2019. Well, that's obvious, isn't it? Because he hasn't played in the Premier League since then. So whatever.
Cheers, John.
I think that Emery has so little, I don't know, options up his sleeve to change things because of the injuries and because our squad depth is not that of our rivals anyway. I think he'd be missing a trick by not making a couple of key changes. I'd have Mings in there as well, because I think Mings is probably, in McGinn's absence, the best captain that we've got.
I
think that team needs a captain at the moment. It needs some direction.
That's a good point.
I think Mings, we know that they bring different things, him and Torres, but I don't know. I don't think it changes. I don't think it changes too much in terms of what they're capable on the pitch if you remove one for the other. We know what they bring, aggression versus, ball playing and spotting passes and stuff like that. But I think that team needs somebody. And obviously you've got Emery who's doing his nut on the sidelines, but it needs somebody on that pitch to actually make sure, that just keeping that tempo going, making sure people are upbeat and positive and et cetera, et cetera. So I'd put him in. Other than that, I think pretty much I agree with what you've said, John, because A, because you're a tactical genius, and B, because I don't think we've got many other options, to be honest.
Yeah. The second one, I don't have any options. I think that's a really good point Matt makes there, and it's something that it's weirdly overlooked. We keep saying we're lacking leadership, and then we also question why Torres is not playing. Well, Mings is barking orders. You can always hear him as well, Villa Park, from at least where I'm from sitting. I don't know if you can as well, Dan. I that's kind of switched my opinion a little bit now, actually. I think we do need leadership on the pitch, and we do need a steady head. Torres gives you that, but in a different way. I think organisation and set pieces too. Chelsea do concede from set pieces.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the bench from the Wolves game, and you've obviously got Alisson down there at the bottom and Bogart, but Matson, Tammy, Ross, Barkley. I don't know why it was Ross Barkley. I was just going to go Ross. That was mental. Yeah, Ross, Barkley, Tyrone Mings, and Lindelof. Are any of those necessarily the answer? No idea. Tammy could play and have an absolute stinker, and we'll all be going, "Oh, well, neither of them are any good, right?" But just change it, because we don't know.
Podcast.
There's the option they do change it.
You could put Bogart in and play cash right wing. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll do things like that for this game.
Feels a bit desperate, doesn't it? But we are desperate.
Or Matson left wing.
Yeah. Just do something different. And if that different is keeping exactly the same team and winning the match, then I'll take that. But we need to all rock up to Villa Park at 7:30 kickoff. I think it is, isn't it? 7:30 on Wednesday, and just bring the noise and bring the intensity.
Why is that met with the groan, Dan?
There's 7:30 kickoffs are harder for me to get to. It's just that extra half an hour just makes all the difference. I was hoping it was 8 o'clock.
You just have to wear a hat then, rather than spend all that time doing your hair.
Oh yeah, that's what's taking all the time.
You don't want an 8:15 though. You get back so late. No,
the 8:15 is that's too far. What happened to 7:45? Right, I think that calls time on this episode, but not until we give a prediction. How's it going to go, Kendrick? Win, lose, or draw?
But these are backfired lately, so let's just go for a 1-0 defeat and hope I'm massively wrong.
Someone's going to do it, I suppose. I think my head says it'll be a draw, and it'll be a stinky one. 1-1, 0-0, terrible, but I think we take it.
Do you want to ask me?
Go on, John. You've got to say we're going to win, so we get one of each.
I'm not going to. My head says it'll be 3-1 Chelsea. My heart says it will be 12-0 Villa. I'll be honest. I think we're going to lose. Sorry.
Oh, bloody hell.
Sorry, guys.
It's not even a reverse psychology thing. You genuinely think we'll lose 3-1.
Yeah,
which is not like, that's not a mental.
No,
that's absolutely.
I'm only being honest. I hope not. I just think that we'll lose. Sorry.
I think it'll be Villa crumble instead.
No, I don't think it'll be crumble. I just think Chelsea are quite decent, and that we're not playing very well at the moment. We just lost to Wolves. I have no reason to say that we're going to win 2-0.
Can you dub a 3-0 win over John's just so we finish on a high?
Kiss my face.
That'll do. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Claret and Brew / the Fan Zone. This is our last episode before the big Chelsea game. There'll be a press conference on Tuesday, so who knows if there's a big talking point from that. Maybe
There
we'll
will
be back
be.
again. There will be.
Sorry, there will be a press conference. I don't know if there will be a talking point.
Fine. Yeah, there will be a press conference. Whether there'll be a big talking point or not, who knows? Matt, Kendrick, you and I will be doing the post-match show on Wednesday. That'll be slightly earlier than I thought it was going to be, given the 30-minute kickoff time. So yeah, we'll be here, win, lose or draw. Thanks to you both for joining me on this one. Thank you for watching along or listening wherever you are, and we'll see you Wednesday night for the post-match show. Cheers. See you later.